time for it.
All right. Good evening. Call the council meeting to order. On adoption of the agenda, we will have a delegation this evening regarding 560 Colby Road. The engineer will speak to that. And with that, I think there were also some replacement pages. Hopefully, council got all those regarding that application. So, with that, the motion to adopt would be in order.
Move.
Second.
Adoption. All those in favor? Motion's carried. All right. So I'd like to welcome the representative from, I think it's McElhaney, is it?
Yes.
And you can introduce yourself, and you have 10 minutes for your presentation.
Thank you for accepting me on late notice. My name is Chris Roop from Magdalene, and I'd just like to, further to the introduction to the council on March 6th, I'd like to provide an update to the progress of the rezoning application for 560 Colby Road. We have been working with town staff and have prepared a tree retention plan as well as an arborist report and an updated geotechnical report which addresses EPA guideline 16. A copy of the updated geotechnical report as well as the arborist report is appended to the planning report. The tree retention plan was developed in order to maintain mature tree cover and allow for development of the existing lot. All the mature trees were surveyed on site. All the mature trees are outside of the existing covenant. Surveyed on site, and they're shown in this plan here, species as well as diameter. Once we had all the trees surveyed, we walked the site with town staff to establish potential building sites as well as driveway and utility corridors for the proposed lot subdivision. And of the 98 trees that were surveyed, mature trees, 70 of them will be protected by a proposed covenant on the existing trees. Once those 70 trees were identified, we further worked with town staff to develop building setbacks for the lots based on the existing or proposed covenant trees. And those setbacks are also available with the town planning report, and they vary across the proposed 5 lots depending on where the covenant trees are trying to maintain. As well as arborist was retained to try to walk the site and reviewed all of the existing mature trees on site. She states in the report that all the existing mature trees are healthy and that they're also growing in groves, which makes them very stable compared to
Questions from members of council this time? No, seeing none, we'll be considering your matter here shortly. Thank you. Okay, so we will move on to minutes of meetings for approval of the council meeting of April 17th. The minutes are here.
Second.
Approval then. Those in favor? It's carried. For receipt, the committee of the whole meeting minutes of April 24th. Then, all in favor? We also have the minutes of the Advisory Planning Commission meeting held March 19th for this.
Move.
Second. All in favor? Under unfinished business, we have a management report at page 13 for receipt.
Move. Second.
Receipt then, all in favor? It's carried. Just point out that the offer of the Crown Grant not only has been received, but it's also been accepted pursuant to the last council meeting's resolution. And they're currently, staff are working on the conditions, which include a survey. And I believe, of course, we're also going to be waiting for the order in council. But that hopefully will come in the next few weeks. And the survey is underway, I understand.
Yes.
Anything else on the manager report? Seeing none, we'll move on. So 560 Colby Road, rezoning application RZ 12-8, development permit application DP 12-5, and development variance permit application DP 12-10. A series of recommendations from staff. Certainly, staff planners here to answer any questions that members of council may have. otherwise we can move forward through the first and second readings of the bylaws. What's your pleasure?
Move first and second reading.
Okay.
Second.
First and second reading on the zoning bylaw amendment under 69 bylaw 1709. Any discussion on that? Yes?
I just had a quick general question. I know it all seems to be very thorough, and I like the way that the trees are really taken into account and well protected, and that the setbacks are adjusted with the site in mind. It's very, very positive. I'm just for my own information, to do with the town's affordable housing reserve fund. How do we calculate that? Is it based on the number of units or the cost of the development?
It's based on the number of units. So in this case, 4 new units. 4 new units proposed. We base that on 10% of the minimum of 1. In terms of a land component or cash equivalency for 1 nonprofit housing unit. The closest nonprofit housing unit type that would work in this case would be a townhouse. And I believe the per unit footprint for a townhouse, including an allowance for parking and access ways and open space, is, I think, we have standardized, I think it's 175 square meters. But I'd have to check to make sure that's the exact square meters. And then if an applicant is pursuing the payment in lieu, then that is the value of the land, current value of the land prior to rezoning, and no discounting for any substandard services along the existing road frontages. So for example, if a parcel is only serviced by a gravel road, typically the market value would then discount it because there's an obligation to provide a paved road. To keep everything the same for all developers, we then say, well, no, the base standard is any existing roads. The value of the land is if any existing roads abutting it are fully built to town standards.
Great, thank you.
You?
Yes, in regards to the direct connection of Colby Road to Lazo Road being closed, I went up and had a look at that, and what will the reconfiguration of the Guthrie-Lazo intersection be in the end?
The reconfiguration of Guthrie-Lazo would be, it would move to the west such that it tied in more as a straight T.
I think it's shown on one of the maps here.
Right now, it's almost like a Y intersection, so it's offset, and that's what's creating.
Page 26, if you look at that,
Thank you.
gives you some dashed lines, I think.
And I would add, in terms of that affordable housing contribution, that is in line with what you constantly hear in terms of like when Vancouver gets 10% or 15%, they'll announce it as a number of units, but really what it is a land allowance for those units, with the idea then that the municipality is able to take that land, take it to the province as a contribution and plug into the nonprofit housing program. And then that many units could be built on it. So we did tie that into the existing sort of common practice in the province.
Great, yeah, it's great that you do that.
So on page 26, that sketch, is that accurate in terms of what the future reconfiguration will look like?
Thank you.
No, in terms of Guthrie, so right now, I believe the question is the Guthrie-Lazo intersection?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So Guthrie-Lazo right now comes in. Comes in like this and this. And the future relocation, when this parcel chooses to develop, would be to take additional road dedication, bring it in straight, and such that we have a proper T intersection and we get better sight lines.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you. Anything further on that bylaw? Okay, so for first and second reading, all those in favor? Motion's carried. And the phased development agreement bylaw 1749 also requires first and second reading.
Move.
Second.
discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. And that staff be given authorization to proceed to a public hearing for those two bylaws.
Move. Second.
All those in favor? Motion's carried. Has a date been established yet?
Yes.
Pardon me? May 15th. May 15th, okay.
May 15th,
Yeah, we'll be following the council meeting then at
Yes.
some point around 7 o'clock. All righty. So moving on to special reports, we have the Regional District Solid Waste Management Board meeting minutes of April 16th for receipt and information.
Move. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor? Motion's carried. And the bylaws we have for adoption, bylaw 1746, the Comox tax rate bylaw.
Move. Second.
Seconded. Any questions? All those in favor? Motion's carried. And then, new business, we have the report from staff on taxes and fees on an average single-family home for receipt.
Move. Second.
A receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Any questions or comments? Director of Finance has crunched the numbers based on all the various requisitions. And you can see it there on pages 83 and 84. It's most importantly on 84, in terms of the bottom line. So for the municipal portion, it's shown there, as well as for the taxes, is $43.43 increase plus the user or utility charges for a total of $99.68, or 2.92%. So based on the direction that the council gave in terms of the budget at 2.7, that's what it works out to be overall. So I think that's well within what we were looking for to get below 3%. Thank you, staff, for giving us that information and for all the work, obviously, to bring the budget to this point. And I take it that concludes the budget process for this year? Excellent. 2 weeks ahead of time. Yes. Well done. All right. Anything further? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports from members of council. We'll start with Councillor McLean.
Yes, since the last committee of the whole on Thursday, I went to Lake Trail Neighborhood Society Homeless in Our Community open house, and had some interesting speakers there from Caravan, from the Salvation Army, and it was a great attended program and very informative. Went on Sunday, there was a Yana event, charity event at Marquisville. Tuesday is the Chamber of Commerce Business Mixer at the Holiday Inn, and Comox as well as Courtney businesses there. Thursday, there was the Community Justice Center sponsored performance of Vanier's Theater's Torn Rainbow, which addresses anti-homophobic homophobia in the community, and was very well attended, and a wonderful production from students here, very powerful. Friday, the Comox Valley Art Gallery had an exhibition and opening reception. Attended that. Sunday was the Snow to Surf, and I filled in presenting the Town of Comox Trophy to the Masters winners. Very adequate for me, as I'm well into the Masters category. Monday, sadly attended a celebration of life with a number of other councillors and the mayor for Captain Stuart Rennie at the community centre and fire hall. And last night caught the tail end after another celebration of life of the all candidates meeting at the Filbert Centre, which was well attended for the provincial election.
Great,
That's
thanks.
my report.
Councillor Price.
Yes, I attended as acting mayor the Youth for Christ annual dinner and the Filbert Centre, and it was absolutely packed. I've never seen the Filbert Centre so full. I took part in an AVICC executive teleconference call. I attended the Comox Archives and Museums Society meeting, and we've had over 2,000 visitors in the first 3 months of the year. I also attended a Friends of Comox House and Forest Reserve meeting. As acting mayor, I was at the St. John's Ambulance competition, which was an all-day event with groups from all over the island and some tiny little kids. It was absolutely amazing at a level of enthusiasm, and I got to present an award. And I also attended the memorial service for Captain Stuart Rennie.
Great, thanks for your report. Councillor Swift?
Okay, I attended the Premier's announcement as she was traveling through town. She spoke overwhelmingly in support of hospice, but no money fell off the bus before she left town, which was too bad. I attended the Filbert board meeting, and they are very anxious that as many of us attend the spring showcase, which is May 10th, 4 to 6 at the Filbert property, and it's just to outline their upcoming events for the summer and so on. At that meeting, Al Fraser came and did his report of what is going to be happening on the grounds there this summer, and they were very pleased with that. And I attended Stuart Rennie's celebration of life and did not know the man well, but he certainly seemed like a wonderful individual. And yesterday I had a tour of the waste management plant out in Brent Road. I'm not able to attend the one on May 21st, so Jim Elliott gave me a tour of the plant, and I found it really interesting. So.
All right, thank you. Councillor Fletcher?
Thank you. Since we last met, I attended the Comox Valley Chamber of Commerce AGM for behalf of the mayor. The agenda and the financial reports have been circulated in the meeting file for all members of council to review. On April 22nd, Earth Day, I was celebrating the day by planting a tree at the Comox Valley Regional District Exhibition Grounds. That was hosted by the Comox Valley Land Trust, and it was the BC Hydro Caring for Trees Award Program. So several students were there, received awards from all the high schools. So a great event, and a beautiful new maple tree exists there. I also attended the celebration of life for Fire Captain Stuart Rennie yesterday and on Monday, and yesterday I attended the Regional District Board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Grant?
Yeah, I attended the celebration of life for Stuart Rennie as well, and I got to meet Tom yesterday at the RD meeting. Next week, we were going to meet today, but we had to put it off till next week regarding our trail marking and mapping, so I'll be meeting with staff on that next week, and looking forward to getting a little better scope as to how that's going to work out, and bring something back to council with that soon. And our sign committee is ramping up. We will be meeting next week. The green and white mileage signs I've heard are up, but I have never heard of anybody who has seen them yet, so I'm waiting till we actually see them. But Department of Highways has said they are, if they're not up, they're going up imminently in Nanaimo to show that we actually exist in the Comox Valley. You don't have to go to Campbell River. And we're also ramping up to start our, we're going to be getting our scope and how we're going to do the fundraising for the Welcome to the Comox Valley sign, which we are, and that's what our campaign is going to start, and we should get some better ideas as to how we're going to go about that very soon. So that's where we're going with that.
Yeah. All right, just briefly report on the 18th of April, I was in Victoria to participate as part of a judging panel on the Public Service Awards that the Premier is initiated over the last number of years, so serving on a panel reviewing over 40 submissions in 6 different categories, and quite impressed by the breadth and scope of these awards and leadership and innovation. And, for the 30,000 public servants in the province, they're certainly showing some great strides going forward to make things happen more efficiently, and some of those things I'm sure we'll see even within our own community in terms of new ways of doing road construction and the like. So pleased to be invited to do that. The lawn bowling opening was on April 21st, and that was well attended. I met a resident here who was working on some ideas around beekeeping and perhaps having beehives in some of our public or private facilities, as has happened in other parts of the province, helping the gardeners as well as helping produce honey. The Cabana Soup this year was held at École au Coeur de l'Île near the fire hall, and that was well attended and hosted by the Parents for French Association. And of course, as mentioned here by everybody, I was sad and pleased to attend the Stuart Rennie funeral service. Certainly well received, a member of our fire department, and great show of support by the community for the work that he's done, and of course, the great teamwork that the firefighters provide and support that they provide to each other. So sad to see Stuart go, but certainly glad to see that everybody was able to support the county then, and I'm sure on a going forward basis. That's it for me. No late items. Any media questions at this time? There's no members of the public here that are likely to question, so motion to adjourn will be in order.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.